in the centuries-long time period that this game has existed, there has been one question burning on everyone's mind. Which is better, the rook or two bishops? Now, by all metrics, the two bishops are better because, number one, every grandmaster who ever does chess YouTube content always talks about the bishop pair. Oh, keep the bishop pair, deny the opponent the bishop pair. They talk about it like SpongeBob talks about the marble when he's like trying to carve that statue of David. And he's like, I must lick the marble, I must taste the marble, I must sniff the marble. Well, today we're going to taste the bishop pair like we're a grandmaster with, some normal Kessler throws the game in the middle there. That's always going to happen. It's not a Kessler game without me blundering and throwing, as you can see here by the timeline. But this game is a good illustration of why the bishop pair is so good. I know I did another bishop pair video, but this game is such a better example. And as a new player, I feel like it's really hard to figure out how to make the two bishops work together because they can't cover each other, right? They are restricted to their own color. So this is, I think, a good illustrative example of that. Okay, so my opponent attacks the bishop, and after some attacking, my opponent just gives away a pawn, so I'll take that. I mean, that's not anything special with the bishop pair. He could have just defended it by moving rook to that square originally. Okay, so now the rook goes here. Notice how the rook couldn't get in because the bishop's covering that. So the rook's going to have to take a few extra turns to get in, which lets me take his pawns. Now he's covering my pawns, but look at how strong the bishops are when getting this pawn forward. First of all, this pawn is protected by this bishop. Now the pawn moves up and it's protected by this bishop. It's like a relay race, just passing it back and forth like hot potato. Who's protecting the pawn? Now it's protected by the other bishop. Okay, so pawn moves up, bam, exclamation mark move, right before I blow the game. Now the bishop covers the queening square, and this is just like it's harder to block two bishops, like no matter what, I can have these queening squares covered. So he takes here, and get the queen, forcing him to give up the rook to get the queen. And now look, the bishop still covers the queening square, but not anymore because I blunder the game and he can play this. So now I just basically threw. But you can see how good the bishop pair was. So I threw that. I do some checks because I can, but I really don't have much, and I try to make a fortress over here. He pins my bishop, but look at how good bishops are. Bam! Now the bishop and pawn defend each other. There's no way he can possibly get through without sacking his queen, and even if he does that, he's not promoting this pawn because the bishop is watching this square. So it's not like a draw. Okay, well, first of all, he's going to blunder that pawn, so I'll take that. It's officially a draw now because, like, I can easily just hold this as a fortress. Wherever he checks me, my bishops can just block. But don't worry. I still try to make a fortress here as he tries to move up his king. And bam! Move the bishop here. This is a huge blunder. All he has to do is play this check right here, and then no matter where I move, it basically forks bishops. I can't defend both of them at the same time. So he wins the bishops in the game, basically. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a whole lot I can do about this. So he could have won the game there, but he doesn't. He doesn't. He spends 4 seconds and plays king to d2, but this is just the trap. Now I can play bishop here, and now king to e1, a huge blunder, because I have a bishop to b4 check, and this is the true power of the bishops. I would like to apologize to every bishop I've ever slandered in the history of this game, because I did not realize how good this check was until after I played it for 5 seconds. It took me 5 seconds after playing the move to realize how good it was, right? That's how garbage I am. But look, the bishop checks like this. This bishop checks like this, and the pawn prevents here. He only has one move to escape checkmate, and that's giving up the queen. He had to give up the queen. Now here I tried to sacrifice the bishop to make it a little easier on myself since I had 13 seconds left. But he's not falling for it, so okay. Low time, but I still checkmate him, and this just like I had 13 seconds left at this point. Let me see. Okay, so when I got the queen, I had 17 seconds. And then here I had 13.6 seconds. But you can see, like I talk about in these endgame videos, you have to be able to do this quickly. Like, I did that. I ended with 4 seconds. So I basically did that checkmate from when I tried to sacrifice the bishop to when he just denied it. I did that in 10 seconds. And, like, that's what you have to do to keep these half points. You just have to autopilot these checkmates. But yeah, I mean, I thought this was a pretty good illustrative game of how the bishop pair is awesome.